Alright, John Oaks here with Hagster's Hot Rods today here on our Homer City, Pennsylvania showroom. We're going to show you our latest addition to our inventory, and this is a very nice little car here, a 1967 Dodge Dart GT on this car here. As you can see, this car, as we walk around it, I'm going to be calling out an awful lot of things from our walk around video. Also, when we get to the underside, and especially when we get to like under the hood, there's going to be a lot of things we go over on this car that really makes this a very nice piece for anybody that wants to get into these classic muscle cars. This will be a phenomenal car. But anyways, Dodge Dart GT 67. We've got our bright work on the car, the chrome bumpers obviously, front and rear. All of our wheel moldings, our drip rail moldings, the moldings around the windows. I'm not going to really go around these things too much as I normally do on a lot of cars, because again, all of this stuff is in great condition on this piece. But we're going to take time to go over a lot of the other things here. So you can see ours is done here in the darker blue exterior paint. It does have the lighter, brighter blue pinstriping here up on the top ridge of the car here. Widens out back here on the quarter panels, as you can see. And it does have the Dart GT inside of that stripe back there on that rear quarter panel. It also has the Dart GT badging here on the front fenders as well. You've got this steel hood here also that fits great on this car. As far as the wheels and tires, these are going to be one thing that we can kind of address here and elaborate on. 17 by 8 inch wheels, both front and rear. These are American Racing Salt Flat 2 wheels. They're aluminum. And as far as the tires, these are Nitto tires. They're a little bit different front to back, but as far as the size go on them, they're 215/45 R17s on the front and 225/50 R17s on the rear. Tread is in great shape on these things here too. Now, as far as mirrors, we do have a driver's side mirror. It is remote adjustable, so you have the adjuster inside on the door panel for that. All of your glass on this thing is in really good condition too. No chips or cracks in any of the glass. As I mentioned, all of your moldings are all in great shape, nice and straight and polished up. The actual rain gutter itself, nice and smooth. Paint on the top of the car, the roof is in great shape too. Your door gaps, you can see those. The elevations are great also. Everything lines up, including all of the body lines on this car. Let's go ahead and open up now so we can take a look at the interior there. Now inside we've got aftermarket black bucket seats up front. They're reclinable, fully adjustable. You've got the black bench in the back. The door panels on this car, you've got the black and blue two-tone color scheme on the door panels. Blue dash there, again, that's factory dash. You do have an aftermarket tack there on the column, and then you also have the aftermarket 3 gauges down below. That's going to be your oil pressure, water temperature, and voltmeter. You also have the Hurst 4-speed floor shifter in there, along with the Dart GT steering wheel from the factory. It does have seat belts in the front seats, so that's going to keep you good and safe up front. Factory heater controls and such there also. Now we'll go ahead and close this up. Oh, we will mention weather stripping and seals. Those are all in good condition, as they always are. Again, we make sure that stuff's good and, you know, seals up as best as it can for a 50 or 60 plus year old car there. Now as we work our way a little further back, let's stop right here, take a peek down here at this exhaust. It's kind of like a NASCAR style exhaust, only you're going to have this on both sides, and this makes this thing sound great. Again, a little later on in our video, we're going to be showing you the underside and starting this car up, so you'll get to hear what that exhaust sounds like. But those are the or I guess not the tailpipes, but the exhaust exits there anyways, right in front of the rear tires here. Now they do have a set of exhaust cutouts on them, so if you want to run the exhaust straight out from underneath the car, you can do that too. It just depends on how many people you want to offend with how loud the car is. So as far as fuel tank, you can see it's got the chrome gas cap there. Fuel tank is underneath the car, which we'll see a little later. As we get around to the back of the car here, again, just your typical Dart stuff back here. Dart GT cladding and badging back here on the rear of the car. Chrome rear bumper, as I said. The taillight lenses, those are in good shape. No chips or cracks there. All of our bright work here, again, is in really good condition too. As far as the trunk lid, you can see the gaps on that and the elevations here compared to the quarter panels. Those are all looking really good there. We've also got this nice curved rear glass. Again, no chips or cracks. And your bright work, the molding around there, that is in good condition too. Now let's go ahead and open our trunk up. Just bear with me while we grab the right key. Just need to pick that one. There we go. So you can see the key does work in the lock. The trunk lid itself raises up. The hinges and the spring doing what they should, and that's holding that trunk lid up. Now the underside of this painted the same blue as the exterior of the car. The inside, you've got your trunk mat here. Obviously the floor is in great shape. This is where you put your spare tire if you had one. But you can see everything nice and solid in there. No patching at all. But again, you've got a trunk mat in there to kind of cover all of that up. And we'll put that down again. I'm not going to take too much time to do that because we've got a lot to go over here. So that's the trunk. Your seals and weather stripping the whole way around. Those are all in great shape too. No rips or tears. Nice and soft the whole way around. That meets right together here in the center. So again, that should all seal up very good as well. Trunk closes easily also. Now we come around to the passenger side. Again, all of our panels on this car are nice and straight. We've already gone over wheels, tires, wheel lip moldings, all of our bright work on the car also. You'll see our gaps on the passenger side door. Elevations again are dead on with the quarter and front fenders. Glass again on this side is in great shape. We'll open up from this side and now we'll take a peek there. Again, that's just so you can see both sides. Now you'll see there is a wheel lug wrench in there. Again, that's because the lugs on this, they do have locks. So that's the special lug wrench for the locks so that you can change your wheels out if you ever need to. So that's pretty much it. Dash pad itself is in great shape. No rips or tears in any of the upholstery. You got speakers in the rear package tray, blue headliner. Like I said, all of that is in great shape. Again, weather stripping on this side, same thing. That's all in good shape. And again, the door shuts easy. And also, like I said, you can see down there that exhaust as it sticks out there. You've got that on both sides. As we work our way around, you've got the matching Dodge Dart GT badges on the front fenders. And then that brings us up around to the front of the car. So again, you've got the Dodge Dart GT grill here. You see the GT badging right in the center of the grill. You'll notice the headlights. These are a little bit different. These are going to be your HID headlights with the halos in them. Again, these things are really, really nice, super bright too. So it's going to enable you to see wherever you might be going at nighttime on this car. Chrome front bumper, that's in great shape. And again, your hood here, steel hood. You can see the gaps on that and the elevations on all of that with the dual scoops here out at the side. The windshield itself, tinted at the top, gradually decreases as it comes down. That's in great shape too, along with your moldings. So let's now, I'm going to set my paper down. We're going to go underneath the hood next. And this is where we'll start having a lot of stuff to talk about. Alright, so first, the underside of the hood, painted the same blue as the exterior of the car. Same thing with the engine compartment on this car also. As with all Mopars, they always were painted the same color as the exterior of the car. Now as far as the engine itself, now this is a non-numbers match motor, but this is a 440 cubic inch big block Mopar engine here. And I'm telling you, this thing's got lots of get up and go to it. You can see they've upgraded the air filter, get a little more air in there. They've gone with a K&N reusable filter. It's got the filter top on top as well. Underneath that, we've got an Edelbrock, let me see, what number was that? Edelbrock 1912 series carb. That's a single feed carburetor. Gonna work excellent for you. It's the Edelbrock AVS carburetor. Underneath that, an Edelbrock Torquer 2 aluminum intake on this car as well. So with the air cleaner, that carburetor, and the intake, you're gonna get better fuel, better air delivery to it also. The ignition system on the car, Upgraded also, we've got an MSD Pro billet distributor with a set of the, let me look at these. These are the Thunderbolt 50 plug wires here. These are excellent wires. I think they're like an 8 or even like an 8 millimeter wire. Nice aluminum radiator up here with a 7-blade steel fan. That's going to get you cooling a lot better too. The aluminum radiator by itself, much more efficient at cooling than a stock radiator. Plus you've got the 7-blade steel fan that doesn't flatten out while you're running it. As far as the exhaust system on this car, you've got, it's a shorty style header. It's cut off short, and then of course your exhaust is run all the way back. And again, you'll see the exhaust in our underside video when we get to that. As you can see, everything's so nice and neat underneath here. Set of Mopar performance valve covers with valve covered breathers there also. Now, a couple other things we want to go over. Again, it's worth double mentioning. I'm going to go over this stuff when it's in the underside video too. But you've got no, we don't have power brakes. We've got manual brakes, manual steering on this car. Now the brakes though, those are disc brakes, all 4 corners on this car. And it does include the parking brake option that is all hooked up and functional for you. As far as the steering being non-power, no fears there either. Again, this thing has a complete Gerst front suspension kit on it. It's going to have a complete K-member from them, fully adjustable coilover shocks on it, all tubular upper and lower control arms, rack and pinion steering, you name it. I mean, it's got it underneath this car. So that's going to be things that's going to come a little later in our underside video. Behind this motor, we've got a 421 new process 4-speed manual transmission. Nice crisp shift in transmission. This thing runs good. The clutch is great also on it. As far as the rear end, it's a Mopar 8 3/4 rear. It is a POSI unit, 373 gear in that as well. So that's a lot of stuff to go over. We're going to go ahead now, get this on the lift for you so that we can show you the underside of this car. I mean, it's going to have lots of goodies to go over there too. So let's go ahead, close this up, get it on the lift, show you the underside, and then finally we'll fire this 440 up, let you hear what this motor and that exhaust system sounds like. Alright, so we're standing underneath our 67 Dart GT here. We're going to go through the underside. There's actually quite a bit of stuff underneath here that we can kind of point out. A lot of upgrades and frills on this car that make it really, really super nice. So let's start at the front. We'll go through as we normally do: steering, suspension, braking, drive line, frame floors, rear end, and so forth, wheels, tires. And we'll get through this, and hopefully I don't miss anything, or at least too much of anything here once we get through it all. So starting at the front, as far as the suspension goes, there's a lot here to go over. So number one, it's got a complete Gerst GTS front suspension kit on it. That's complete with the K-member, all of your upper and lower control arms, adjustable coilover front shocks on this, disc brake kit on the front. It's got rack and pinion steering on it as well. You do have a sway bar here also. Again, all of this stuff is practically brand new in this car. Your sway bar bushings are in excellent condition. End lengths, same thing. Like I said, these are adjustable coilover front shocks. You've got stainless braided brake lines up here too. All of the rod ends and joints and so forth are in great condition. Ball joints, same thing, all in great condition as well. Just super, super nice front suspension setup on this car. This car is going to really hug the road really well for you. As I mentioned there real quick, we do have disc brakes. Now, the brakes on this car are manual. But again, you've got disc brakes on the front, you've got disc brakes out on the rear of the car as well, and it does have the rear parking brake option, and it is all hooked up for you as well. So that's front suspension, steering, and braking. As far as the drive line, since we're standing up here, let's go over that right now. We've got a 440 Mopar engine in this car. Now, it is not the original numbers match motor. but this is a very strong running 440 cubic inch Mopar engine. Behind that, we've got the 421 new process, 4-speed manual transmission that's putting the power to the ground. We've got the flywheel and the flywheel cover here. That's going to protect that flywheel from any dirt and debris getting in there and possibly causing any kind of premature failures on that flywheel. Your drive shaft, it is balanced, so you're weighted. It's going to eliminate a lot of the vibrations out of your drivetrain. Back here then, we've got the Mopar 8 3/4 inch rear end. It's a POSI unit in here. It's got a 373 gear ratio in it. Back here for suspension, not too much out of the ordinary. You do have your multi-leaf rear suspension, just a set of good gas shocks back here. But something extra this does have on it, and that is on the rear end here, you've got this rubber snubber so that it doesn't come up and hit the floor. It's going to be cushioned for you when it does that. As I mentioned, the disc brakes back here too. Now wheels and tires, because again it does kind of all play into the suspension factor. You've got 17-inch wheels front and back on this car, 17/8 as a matter of fact. As far as tires go, these are Nitto, like low profile style tires. On the front, you've got the Nitto, what do they call these here? The next gen, I believe, Neo Gen on the front. They are 215/45 17s on the front. Out back, you've got the Nitto NT555 G2s up there. And then as far as the size on those, it's a 225/50 R17. So that gives you your wheels, tires, suspension, braking, all of that. As far as the exhaust work that you can see, they've done an excellent job on this exhaust. You've got a shorty style header on the motor coming off of the heads. You've got these dual exhaust here. Excellent, nice bends on this exhaust. You've got the good style clamps here that's going to keep everything all together. You can see it kind of comes to an X here in the center of the car. You do have cutouts here too. So if you don't want that exhaust running all the way through the, I guess you could call these the exit pipes or the side pipes on it, you can just unblock your cutouts here and have the exhaust come straight out of here. But again, for most of your street driving, you're going to want to come through your pipes all the way through to muffle it as much as possible. Now, as you can see on this exhaust, they've got this flex pipe here, nicely done by the way, all the exhaust clamps where they should be and where they need to be. And then you've got a set of fabricated exhaust tips on this thing. Now when this car is running, you need to hear the sound of these things, which you will hear in just a little bit. But again, this car sounds excellent. So that is your exhaust work on the car. Now unfortunately, we don't have tailpipes, but again, this is an excellent look for this car. You will not mind it whatsoever. As far as the frame and the floors, we've already gone over the front suspension and the K-frame and everything. As far as the rest of your suspension, or your frame I should say, everything is nice and straight up here. Now typically these cars are torsion bar front suspension, but again with the suspension upgrade that this has up front, it eliminates those torsion bars. The floors on this car are in excellent condition, as you can see. I really don't see any patching underneath here. See a little bit of undercoating, again just a very light coating of it. Actually now I do see, it does look like they did replace maybe the rear pans in it, but again they've done an excellent job. You can't probably from the camera, probably can't even tell where they did it. They've seam sealed and cut them so nicely, everything lays in there ever so good. All your stamping lines are all there for you to see. As I mentioned, the emergency brake cable, it's all hooked up and those are all functional. Brake lines and fuel lines and so forth run along the bottom of the car here, nice and neat. All the way back, your fuel lines to the fuel tank. And again, your fuel tank is in great shape too. No dents or dings in it. It's painted black just to kind of match up with the rest of the car. You do have that spare tire provision in your trunk floor area back here. As far as what we can see of the trunk floor underneath here, it is all intact, all solid, all looking good back here as well. So that's pretty much it as far as the underside of the car here. You do have a proportioning valve and so forth for your brakes to set them up front to back. That makes things nice too for you. But that's pretty much it for underneath our 67 Dart. We're going to go ahead and lower this down now, go underneath the hood, fire this thing up, and you'll get to hear what that motor sounds like with this elaborate exhaust system they've got on it right here.